All right, so are you ready to dive into this massive world of business and tech conferences?
Let's do it. I've got my notepad ready. There's so much to cover.
Yeah, we've got 15 top finance conferences and another 15 in the tech world. Buckle up. This is going to be a deep dive.
You know, it's really interesting. It's getting harder and harder to separate finance and tech these days. They're so interconnected.
Absolutely. Okay, let's jump into the finance world first. We've grouped these conferences into a few themes to make things easier. Let's start with investment focus, where I guess you could say Wall Street meets the modern age.
Right. Classic investment strategies, but with a tech-driven twist.
Love it. And to kick things off, we've got the CFA Institute Annual Conference. If you're serious about investment management, or even if you just want to understand the pulse of the market, this is a big one.
Oh, yeah. This is like the gathering of the investment world's elite. You'll hear from top portfolio managers, economists, you name it, even policymakers shaping the future of finance. And the location changes every year. Last year it was in London, this year New York. Who knows where it'll be next?
Global and prestigious for sure. But what if you're looking for something geared more towards individual investors, not just the Wall Street giants?
Well, then Money Show might be more your speed. They have events across the U.S. with big ones in Vegas and New York.
So, a bit more accessible. I like it.
What's cool about Money Shows, they often feature presentations tailored to specific investing strategies like options trading or real estate investment. You can really deep dive into your niche.
You can find your tribe of investors there. Okay, shifting gears a bit. If you've got a global outlook, the Global Private Equity Conference in Washington, D.C., hosted by MPA, that one zeroes in on emerging markets.
Yeah, MPA's conference is all about emerging markets. Think high growth potential, but also, higher risk. You'll be surrounded by investors making big bets on regions often overlooked by the mainstream.
High stakes. So we've got the CFA Institute for the big picture, Money Show for the individual investor, and MPEA for the global adventurer. Now, what about the Financial Times Global Wealth Management Summit? It's held in London, and it seems to cater to a very specific audience.
Well, imagine being in a room with the world's top private bankers, wealth managers, and family offices. That's the FT Global Wealth Management Summit in a nutshell.
Wow, sounds exclusive.
It is. They discuss trends and strategies for managing, well, significant assets. Not your everyday investment advice.
Definitely a high roller crowd. Okay, we've explored some of the established players in finance. Let's shift gears now to where the real disruption is happening, fintech and innovation. This is where technology is really shaking things up, right?
Absolutely. We're talking about technologies that are changing how we access and manage money, creating entirely new possibilities.
Exciting stuff. So where do we start?
Well, Blended FinTech in New York City is a major player in this space. They focus on digital lending, financial inclusion, basically how tech is making finance more accessible.
So it's not just about the latest gadgets, it's about making a difference.
Right. It's about democratizing finance, empowering people who have traditionally been excluded from the system.
I like that. And who would you find at a conference like Lend FinTech?
Oh, it's a real melting pot. You'll see startups pitching their ideas, established financial institutions trying to keep up, and even regulators trying to create a framework for this rapidly evolving landscape.
Wow, so you're seeing all sides of the equation there. Now, Money 2020 is a name I've heard thrown around a lot. What makes them so influential in the fintech space?
Money 2020 is massive. They have their flagship event in Vegas, plus regional events in Europe and Asia. Think about mobile payments, digital wallets, even blockchain technology. It's all there.
Okay, so it's the place to be if you want to see the future of payments. Speaking of blockchain, we've got the Blockchain Expo Global on our list. They have events in London, North America, and Asia, diving deep into the world of crypto and what they call DeFi. What exactly is DeFi, and why is it such a hot topic?
DeFi stands for decentralized finance. It's basically like traditional banking services, but powered by blockchain technology, cutting out the middleman. So no banks, no brokers.
And what would you see at Blockchain Expo Global?
Oh, it's a whirlwind. You'll see developers building the technology, entrepreneurs launching new blockchain-based businesses, and even regulators trying to make sense of it all. It's a very dynamic space.
A lot of excitement, but probably some healthy skepticism too, right?
Definitely. Blockchain is still relatively new, and there's a lot of debate about its potential impact. But one thing's for sure, it's changing the conversation about finance. Okay, so we've gone from the big players in finance to the disruptors. Now let's move on to the rules of the game with our next theme, regulation and policy. This might not sound as exciting, but it's crucial to understand the legal side of things, right?
Oh, absolutely. especially in the world of finance, where compliance and risk management are paramount.
Exactly. And if you want to get a handle on this, there's no better place than the FinNRA annual conference.
NRA being the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, right?
Yeah.
So this is where they bring together the rule makers and the rule followers.
You got it. Professionals and regulators come together to discuss the latest rules and regulations impacting the financial services industry. It's where you'll learn about the latest compliance requirements and how to navigate the ever-changing regulatory landscape.
All right, so this one's for the serious folks who need to stay on top of compliance. Now, the World Finance Conference seems to take a more global approach to the world of finance, right?
It does. It's a fascinating blend of academic research and practical insights. You'll have experts from all over the globe discussing topics like financial modeling, investment management, and of course the ever-evolving landscape of financial regulations.
So you get both the theory and the real-world application.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity to network with people from different countries and backgrounds who share a passion for finance.
Sounds like a great place to broaden your horizons. And finally, in this category, we have the International Finance and Banking Conference. As the name suggests, it dives deep into the world of banking and global finance.
Yes, this one's a forum for experts to analyze trends, debate solutions, and essentially try to predict the future of the banking sector in a world that's constantly changing. You'll gain insights into the forces shaping global finance, from economic policies to technological advancements.
Okay, we've covered the big players, the disruptors, and the rule makers. Now let's get into some of the more niche conferences, where things get really interesting for those with specific interests.
Right, these are the events that cater to a particular sector, a unique investment strategy, or a cutting-edge technology that's just starting to gain traction.
So if you want to go deep on a specific topic, these are the conferences to check out. First up, we have the Sustainable Finance Forum. It's all about ESG, environmental, social, and governance investing, which seems to be getting a lot of attention lately.
ESG is huge right now. It's a rapidly growing field, as more and more investors are looking to align their financial goals with their values. The Sustainable Finance Forum brings together thought leaders, asset managers, and companies committed to sustainable business practices to discuss best practices and showcase innovative solutions.
So it's not just about making money, it's about making a positive impact as well. And speaking of impact, the Real Estate Finance and Investment Summit in New York City focuses on the intersection of finance and real estate, but with a twist.
You'll get a front row seat to the hottest trends in real estate, like micro-living developments or the rise of fractional ownership. Plus, they emphasize sustainable and responsible development, so it's not just about building more, it's about building better.
So you're looking at the future of our cities and how we live in them. Now, the Global Finance Conference, or GFC, seems to cover a really wide range of topics. What sets it apart from the other conferences we've discussed?
The GFC is truly global, with attendees from all over the world coming together to share their expertise and perspectives. They discuss everything from economic growth and development to international trade and the role of technology in shaping the future of finance. It's a great place to get a big-picture view of the global financial landscape.
So if you want to understand how all the pieces fit together, the GFC is a good bet. And finally, we've got InsurTech Connect in Las Vegas. Now, I'll admit, insurance isn't usually the most exciting topic, but InsurTech sounds pretty intriguing.
It really is. Startups and established players alike are using technology to transform the way insurance is delivered and consumed. Think AI-powered risk assessments, blockchain-based claims processing, and personalized insurance products tailored to individual needs.
Wow, so they're bringing insurance into the 21st century.
Exactly. InsurTech Connect is a great place to see how technology is disrupting yet another industry and creating new opportunities for innovation and growth.
Okay, so we've navigated the diverse world of finance conferences. Are you ready to dive into the equally vast and dynamic world of tech conferences?
Absolutely. And get ready for some surprises because, as we said, the lines between finance and tech are blurring more and more each year.
All right, let's do this. Tech conferences are known for their energy, their innovation, and sometimes their sheer scale. And speaking of scale, we're starting with a bang. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
This is the granddaddy of tech conferences, a massive showcase of the latest gadgets, gizmos, and consumer electronics from all over the world. You'll see everything from the newest smartphones and smart home devices to cutting-edge virtual reality experiences and even self-driving cars.
So it's like a glimpse into the future of consumer technology. Now, Web Summit in Lisbon, Portugal, is another giant in the tech conference world. But how does it differ from CES?
While CES is all about consumer electronics, Web Summit casts a wider net. They cover web development, internet technology, digital marketing, and the ever-booming world of startups. It's a truly global gathering, with attendees from all over the world coming together to share their insights and connect with one another.
So you get a broader perspective on the tech industry as a whole. Speaking of startups, let's talk about TechCrunch Disrupt in San Francisco, the heart of Silicon Valley. What makes it such a hotbed for startups?
TechCrunch Disrupt is like the Olympics of the startup world. This is where startups go to launch their products, pitch their ideas to investors, and try to become the next big thing. It's a high-energy event, full of innovation and ambition, and it's a great place to see the cutting edge of what's happening in the startup world.
So you can feel the energy and the excitement of new ideas coming to life. Now, we've covered the mega events and the startup scene. Let's zoom in on some of the conferences that revolve around the giants of the tech world. First up, we have Google I/O, held at Google's headquarters in Mountain View, California.
This is the event for anyone who lives and breathes Google. It's a deep dive into the world of Android, Google Cloud, and all of the latest innovations coming out of Google's labs. You'll get exclusive insights into Google's product roadmap, learn from their top engineers, and connect with a global community of Android developers.
You say it's a must for Android developers, but isn't it just a giant marketing event for Google's latest products?
Well, there's definitely an element of that, of course. But you also get access to some seriously in-depth technical sessions, workshops, and code labs. You can learn about cutting-edge advancements in areas like machine learning, artificial intelligence, and cloud computing straight from the source.
So there's real substance beneath the hype. And of course, we can't talk about tech giants without mentioning Apple. Their Worldwide Developers Conference, or WWDC, is held annually in Cupertino, California. What's the big draw for developers at WWDC?
At WWDC, Apple unveils its latest software updates for the iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple Watch, giving developers a sneak peek into the future of the Apple ecosystem. It's a chance to learn from Apple's engineers and designers, get hands-on experience with new technologies, and network with other developers from around the world.
So it's like getting a glimpse behind the curtain at Apple's secretive world. Now, rounding out our Giants Ecosystems category is Microsoft Ignite. This massive conference focuses on all things Microsoft, from cloud computing and enterprise solutions to artificial intelligence and developer tools. Who would get the most out of attending Microsoft Ignite?
If you're a business leader, IT professional, or developer working in the Microsoft ecosystem, this is the event to attend. You'll get the latest updates on Microsoft's products and services, learn about new trends in cloud computing and artificial intelligence, and connect with other professionals in your field. It's a great opportunity to deepen your expertise and expand your professional network within the Microsoft world.
So it's like a one-stop shop for everything Microsoft. And last but certainly not least in this category, we have AWS Re.invent. This is Amazon's massive cloud-focused event held annually in Las Vegas, where they announce new products, services, and features related to Amazon Web Services, or AWS. What makes reInvent such a major event in the tech world?
AWS is the dominant player in the cloud computing space, and reInvent is where they showcase their latest innovations and demonstrate how their cloud platform can help businesses of all sizes innovate and grow. You'll get to see firsthand how companies are using AWS to transform their operations, from startups to Fortune 500 enterprises.
So it's a chance to see the power of cloud computing in action. But remember, we're not just covering the mainstream. We're also diving into the more specialized corners of the tech world. So buckle up. This is where things get really interesting.
Absolutely. We're going to explore conferences that focus on specific technologies, niche markets, and even the darker side of the tech world. Get ready to expand your horizons.
All right, I'm feeling adventurous. Let's start with NVIDIA GTC, the GPU Technology Conference. Now, I know GPUs are important for gaming, but what else are they used for?
GPUs, or graphics processing units, have become the workhorse of many fields that require massive computing power. NVIDIA GTC brings together researchers, developers, and industry leaders to explore the cutting edge of what's possible with this powerful technology. You'll see how GPUs are driving innovations in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, and even robotics.
That's amazing. I'm starting to see how GPUs are impacting so many different industries. Now, for something a little different, let's talk about DEFCON. This is one of the largest and most well-known hacker conferences in the world, held annually in Las Vegas. What kind of people would you find at DEFCON?
DEFCON is a wild ride, that's for sure. You'll find ethical hackers, security researchers, and cybersecurity professionals who come together to discuss the latest threats, vulnerabilities, and defense strategies in the world of cybersecurity. It's a fascinating and sometimes unsettling glimpse into the world of hacking, but it's also a crucial event for anyone concerned about the security of our increasingly digital world.
So you get to see the good guys and the bad guys, or at least the people who think like them. That's incredible. Now, I know RSA Conference is considered the more, I guess, mainstream counterpart to DEF CON. What makes it so influential in the cybersecurity industry?
RSA Conference is one of the largest and most respected events in the cybersecurity industry. It's where security professionals go to learn about the latest hacking techniques, vulnerability disclosures, and strategies to protect systems from cyber attacks. You'll hear from leading experts in the field, get hands-on training, and see the latest security products and solutions.
So it's the place to be if you're serious about cybersecurity. Now, we've got another cybersecurity conference on our list, Black Hat. How does it compare to DEF CON and RSA Conference?
Black Hat is similar to DFACCON in its focus on ethical hacking and digital forensics, but it has a more professional and research-oriented atmosphere. They have events in Las Vegas, Europe, and Asia, bringing together security professionals to discuss advanced hacking techniques, vulnerability research, and incident response strategies. It's a deep dive into the technical aspects of cybersecurity, with a focus on real-world attack and defense scenarios.
All right, so Black Hat is for the truly hardcore security professionals. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the world of open source software. The Open Source Summit, held in various locations around the world, seems to celebrate the collaborative spirit of open source development.
It really does. The Open Source Summit is a vibrant gathering of developers, contributors, and organizations who are passionate about open source software. It's all about celebrating the power of open source, discussing best practices, and contributing to the open source community. You'll find sessions on everything from cloud-native development and edge computing to artificial intelligence and blockchain, all built on the foundation of open source principles.
So it's a chance to learn from the people who are building the future of software. Now, speaking of software, we can't forget about mobile technology. Mobile World Congress, or MWC, is one of the biggest mobile industry events in the world, held annually in Barcelona, Spain. What makes it such a must-attend for anyone in the mobile space?
MWC is a spectacle of mobile innovation. This is where the latest and greatest in mobile technology is unveiled, from new smartphones and tablets to cutting-edge 5G networks and the Internet of Things. You'll see the future of mobile connectivity, experience immersive demos, and connect with the leaders who are shaping the mobile landscape.
So it's a glimpse into the future of how we connect and communicate. And finally, we've got MIT Technology Review's MTech. What makes it stand out from all the other tech conferences we've discussed?
MTech focuses on the truly cutting edge of technology, those emerging technologies that have the potential to reshape our world. They explore artificial intelligence, biotech, quantum computing, and the innovations that are shaping the future. You'll hear from leading researchers, entrepreneurs, and investors who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's a mind-blowing glimpse into the future and a reminder that the pace of technological innovation is only accelerating.
So if you want to see what's next on the horizon, MTech is the place to be.
Exactly. It's a chance to challenge your assumptions, expand your thinking, and get inspired by the possibilities that technology holds.
Whew, that was a whirlwind tour of 15 tech conferences, from the mainstream to the cutting edge.
And we've only just begun. But hopefully you're starting to see how the worlds of finance and tech are converging, how they're influencing each other, and how they're shaping the future.
I am. I'm already starting to connect the dots between these conferences and seeing patterns emerge.
That's great, because the most valuable insights often come from connecting seemingly disparate ideas and seeing the bigger picture.
Okay, let's take a break and then come back to explore some of those connections in more detail. We'll see you in part 2.
You know, it's amazing how different these conferences can be.
It really is. I mean, we just went from the spectacle of CES with all the latest gadgets
Right.
to the world of ethical hackers at DEFON. Talk about a range.
And it's not just the topics that are different, it's the vibe of each event, too. Some are these high-energy networking extravaganzas, while others are more focused gatherings for specialists.
Oh, yeah. You can practically feel the electricity at CES with all the product launches and celebrities.
Coolly.
It's a whole different scene from something like the Sustainable Finance Forum, which probably has a more serious, policy-driven atmosphere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what makes the conference landscape so fascinating. There's really something for everyone.
Yeah.
You can choose your own adventure based on what you're looking to get out of it.
And that's a key point for you to consider out there. It's not just about picking the conference with the coolest name or the most famous speakers.
It's about finding the event that aligns with your goals.
Right.
whether that's networking with potential investors, learning about a specific technology, or just expanding your knowledge.
And don't be afraid to think outside the box, too. You might be surprised at what you find in a conference that's not directly related to your industry.
That's so true. Remember how we talked about the blurring lines between finance and tech?
Absolutely. Someone working in fintech might find unexpected inspiration at a conference focused on artificial intelligence.
Or a cybersecurity expert might glean valuable insights from a conference on blockchain technology.
The connections are everywhere if you're open to making them.
Now, realistically, most of us have limited time and resources, so you need to be strategic. Before you commit to any conference, ask yourself, what are my specific goals for attending? What do I hope to learn? Who do I hope to connect with? And how will this conference help me advance my career or business?
Those are great questions to keep in mind. And remember, you don't have to physically attend every conference that interests you.
That's right. Many conferences offer virtual attendance options, or at least record their sessions and make them available online.
So you can still benefit from the insights and presentations, even if you can't be there in person. And don't underestimate the power of following along on social media.
Absolutely. Most conferences have a strong social media presence, and you can get a real sense of the energy and the key takeaways just by following the hashtag or checking out the live tweets.
We've talked a lot about the practical aspects of choosing and attending conferences, but I think it's also important to acknowledge the intangible benefits.
You mean the aha moments,
The chance.
the chance encounters, the unexpected bursts of inspiration?
Exactly.
There's something about being surrounded by like-minded people, all passionate about a particular topic, that can really spark your creativity and motivation.
It's like a collective energy boost for your brain. You come away from these events with new ideas, new connections, and a renewed sense of purpose. And sometimes the most valuable connections aren't even the ones you planned for.
Right. You might strike up a conversation with someone in line for coffee and end up with a new business partner or mentor. Or you might attend a session on a topic you knew nothing about and walk away with a whole new perspective on your own work.
That's the beauty of conferences. They're unpredictable and they have the potential to change the course of your career or even your life.
So embrace the unknown, be open to new experiences, and don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to touch on something that came up in our research. The issue of diversity and inclusion in the tech and finance industries.
It's an important conversation and one that's increasingly being addressed at conferences. Many events are making conscious efforts to showcase diverse speakers, create inclusive environments, and address the systemic barriers that have historically excluded certain groups from these industries.
It's encouraging to see this progress, but there's still a long way to go.
Absolutely. We need to continue to push for greater representation, not just at conferences, but at all levels of the tech and finance sectors. And that's something we as individuals can be mindful of when choosing which conferences to attend.
We can support events that prioritize diversity and inclusion, and we can use our voices to advocate for greater representation.
Right. If we want to see a more equitable and inclusive future for these industries, we need to start by creating more welcoming and representative spaces.
I think that's a great note to transition on. It's not just about attending conferences for our own personal gain, but also about contributing to a more diverse, inclusive, and ultimately more innovative tech and finance ecosystem.
Exactly. By supporting organizations and events that are committed to these values, we can help create a future where everyone has the opportunity to succeed and thrive in these exciting fields.
You know, as we've been talking, I've been thinking about how much the world of conferences has evolved over the years.
It's definitely not your grandfather's stuffy business meeting anymore.
Haha. No, it's not. With the rise of social media, live streaming, and virtual attendance, conferences have become more accessible, more interactive, and more engaging than ever before.
And I think that trend is only going to continue. We'll see even more innovative ways to connect with audiences, share knowledge, and build communities around these events.
Which is exciting. It means that more people than ever before can benefit from the insights, the connections, and the inspiration that conferences have to offer.
And it means that the future of these industries will be shaped by a more diverse and global group of voices.
You know, as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by how much there is to learn and explore in the world of finance and tech.
It's a constantly evolving landscape, and that's what makes it so exciting. There's always something new to discover, a new challenge, to tackle a new opportunity to seize.
And conferences are the perfect place to immerse yourself in that world, to connect with the people who are shaping it, and to find your own place within it.
So I encourage you to keep an open mind, to stay curious, and to embrace the journey.
Because who knows, the next groundbreaking idea, the next life-changing connection might be just around the corner at your next conference.
And on that note, I think it's time to move on to our final thoughts.
All right, let's bring this deep dive home. All right, so we've made it to the final part of our deep dive into the world of finance and tech conferences.
Wow. Yeah, it feels like we've traveled the globe, haven't we?
We really have, from the bright lights of Vegas at CES to the bustling streets of Barcelona for Mobile World Congress.
And everything in between.
Exactly. After exploring all these conferences, is there any particular trend or innovation that you're really excited about? Something that really stood out to you?
That's a tough one. There's so much to choose from. But I have to say I'm really fascinated by how artificial intelligence is impacting every industry we've talked about. It's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it seems like AI is everywhere these days.
It really is.
Yeah.
From how financial institutions assess risk to how cybersecurity professionals detect threats, AI is changing the game.
Yeah, it really feels like the Wild West out there with all these new AI applications popping up every day. It's incredible and a little bit daunting at the same time.
I know what you mean. There's so much potential, but also a lot of uncertainty.
Right. It's not just about efficiency and automation, though. What about the bigger implications of AI? The ethical considerations, the impact on jobs?
Those are crucial questions. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations, to bring together experts from different fields to really think critically about the future we're creating with AI. And I think conferences play a vital role in that process.
Definitely. They provide a platform for these discussions, a space for debate and collaboration, and ultimately a catalyst for progress.
Exactly. And that's what I find so inspiring about the world of conferences. It's not just about learning new things or networking. It's about being part of a collective effort to shape the future.
It's like a global brain trust with thousands of people coming together to share their knowledge, their experiences, and their visions for a better world.
I love that analogy. It really captures the spirit of these events.
Right. And even though we've only scratched the surface in this deep dive, I hope our listeners have gotten a taste of that energy, that excitement, and that potential for positive change.
Me too. It's out there waiting to be discovered.
So, what would you say to someone who's feeling inspired to explore this world further? Maybe they're thinking about attending their first conference?
I'd say go for it. Don't be intimidated. There's a conference out there for everyone, no matter your background or your interests.
And how do you choose the right one? There are so many options.
Start by thinking about your goals. What do you want to learn? Who do you want to connect with? And what kind of experience are you looking for? Do you want a high-energy mega event or a more intimate gathering?
Those are great questions to consider. And once you've narrowed it down, do your research. Check out the conference website, look at the speaker lineup, read reviews from past attendees.
And don't be afraid to reach out to people who have been there before. Ask them about their experiences and get their recommendations.
Great advice. Now, what about once you're actually at the conference? Any tips for making the most of it?
Be open to new experiences. Don't be afraid to strike up conversations with strangers. Attend sessions that are outside your comfort zone. And most importantly, have fun.
Conferences are a great opportunity to learn, to network, and to be inspired. And who knows, you might even make some lifelong friends along the way.
Absolutely. So go out there, explore, connect, and make the most of this incredible opportunity.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure exploring this world with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you found it informative and inspiring.
Remember, the world of finance and tech is constantly evolving, and there's always something new to discover.
So stay curious, stay engaged, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Until next time.
See you then.